How are you? My name's Anthony Solar. I ride for the factory Sherco Australia Hard Enduro team.
Hello!
Lucky enough for my parents to buy me a little Pee-wee 70 when I was 9 years old. Just rode around paddocks until basically I was 17, 18 once I got my licence, and thought I liked riding and started to travel to go riding, and it just became a bit of a passion and got into it like that and started meeting people and going for rides here, there and everywhere, and fell in love with the technical aspect of Hard Enduro. Hard Enduro wasn't a thing at that time, but I just liked going up snotty hills and crashing into rocks. And I'm still doing it 13 years later. Good mate of mine from school, his brother was Steve from the Wildwood Rock Club. So his uncle owned that property, and we used to go riding there and camping, and there were some nasty hills that a few of the older boys used to go up and down, and I thought it was the gnarliest thing ever. And the frustration of not being able to get up the hill when everybody else can, and because it frustrated me, I just wanted to do it, so I kept trying to get up hills. My first race was at Wildwood. It wasn't the Wildwood Rock race, but it was just a club event, and then I went and did a year of VORC in Clubman and just slowly worked up through the ranks, getting better and better, and eventually I won a championship somehow. 2 of them. So naturally I progressed away from the Pee-wee 70. I was lucky enough to get my hands on an old EXC 200 KTM. At my first race I was pretty confident. It's very different doing a hill here and there and then going to a race, so I thought I was pretty good, and just absolutely destroyed my bike. It took me forever to do a lap. It was a Pony Express, so my poor partner, I probably only got a lap in because it took me the whole race to do 1 lap.
For situations such as these, where we've had a bingle, venter lever, we get out a trusty 8mm. We're not mid-race now, but
You do this during the racing?
well, I've been pretty lucky this season, but have done before.
Obviously your levers are quite valuable to you.
Yeah, so that lever's about to come off, but then we've got some spares underneath the seat, so I keep my brake levers in there, well, clutch lever I should say, and then you do a brake pedal. We've got a brake pedal tucked in there. I've got fuses in the backpack. I've got multi-grips to bend stuff back. Yeah, so that's
you
all.
take quite a fair bit of tools.
Yeah, well, pretty much because we're out in the middle of nowhere, if you can un-DNF yourself, that's the go. So we try to carry as much as we can on the bike, so we're not got all the weight in our backpack.
I love riding, I love the sport, I love the people in the sport. Like, it doesn't seem like a chore for me to go out and train. I just really love it. Obviously you have the days when you've got to force yourself to go, but for the most part I love it. The whole sport, the whole industry, they're just a bunch of really nice, like-minded people. The most important part on my bike would be, to be honest, it's a mixture of everything for Hard Enduro, but tyres are pretty important. You can't really do a lot of the really gnarly stuff if you haven't got a nice gummy tyre. A nice soft Metzler with a really soft nitro mousse gets you pretty far. In a race, generally we're going for hours at a time, and we're not doing multiple laps of the same track. So, if we come across a rock ledge or something and we're not too sure how to tackle it, the good thing about Hard Enduro is it's not like motocross where you're on the gas the whole time. You can stop, assess, move some rocks if you need to, and really plan your run. Hard Enduro, you're better off taking a few extra seconds to set yourself up so that you get up the obstacle first time, rather than rushing it, ending up under your bike and losing a heap of energy. My plans for 2025 are obviously to get on the new Sherco. The new 25 model's looking pretty good, and hopefully put the new 25 model on the top step of the Australian Championship again. We want to go to Erzberg. Someone from Australia has to finish Erzberg. We have to. Erzberg, it's the gnarliest race you'll ever come across. At the same time, it's the most fun you'll ever have. I recommend anyone to go and do it. It's just pure chaos. It's basically a music festival for dirt bikes. And mid-race, if you just stop and appreciate what's going on around you, there's just hundreds of people just all over the shop trying to cut in front of everyone, yelling at each other, looping bikes out here, there and everywhere. You can't help. You have to have a smile on your face the whole time. The toughest part of Erzberg is probably the traffic. Even though a lot of the sections are rideable, everyone's trying to finish. And it's dog eat dog, everyone's trying to cut in front of each other because everyone's got the same goal as to finish or get as far as they can. So you end up, a really rideable hill, if you had a run up, turns into a near impossible hill because you've got no run up because everyone's cutting in front of each other. So I think that's the hardest part. My best result at Erzberg, which was this year, was 26th. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. Next year, hopefully we can get it finished. So for hard enduro, you generally want to set your bike up for comfort. Well, that's how I set it up anyway. We're not going super fast. We're just plottering along for the most part. And when you're going through a heap of rocks, you want it to be super comfortable. So, alongside Chad's off-road setups, we've done, hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours worth of testing and development. And we've come across a setting that, we can really go quite fast, but it's still really comfortable and will absorb all the small bumps. So when I say comfortable, I mean you don't really have to put a lot into riding the bike. The stiffer you go with your suspension, the more deflection you get, the more you've got to really hold on. So basically when I say comfortable, you can, like a lounge chair, you can just really sit into it and the bike and the suspension does the work for you. Yeah. The Sherco is just a really nice rideable bike. It's got a load of power, but it's delivered in a really nice linear way. Along with, we've got a TSP head and tune on it as well now. You've got all the power when you want it. If you want to be really aggressive, you can be really aggressive. You can roll it on nice and slow, and you can be really precise in all your actions. The bike comes standard with 2 different maps, a doughy map and an aggressive map. For the most part, we run an aggressive map. It's only when it becomes really wet, we slowly put it into a softer map. On the Sherco, it makes a really big difference, the map, because it's an electronic power valve. So the map electronically controls that power valve.